We then went to Captain EO. Thank you. We went to Captain EO, and Captain EO debuted in California. And when I was a kid, I used to go see it, and I thought the story was kind of cheesy, but the 3D was really super awesome, right? So I'd sort of like sit through it and love that 3D, and it's amazing how that's like flipped now. So like the 3D is like, that's all right, but that story is phenomenal. Like it completely holds up in that way that it never really held up at all. But I noticed as we were watching it that the Borg basically debut in Captain EO. Which makes me think that if Starfleet had had Michael Jackson at Wolf 359, he would have defeated the Borg by using some sweet dance moves that he stole from Corey Feldman after the most fabulous battle in the history of the galaxy. It would have been amazing. I've never felt like the Borg were ripped off as much as I did when I walked out of there. It's like, you didn't even try to like change it. They said, you're gonna go have this trip back to 1986. And I was like, awesome. Where are my shoulder pads? We had a really good time. It was awesome. We did not attempt to go drinking around the world this year. Really, you're disappointed in that? I'm sorry that I wasn't there to throw up by the time I got to Canada. Although I was in the Canadian Pavilion, and they have a number of hockey jerseys in there. And I'm a former hockey player. I'm a lifelong hockey fan. I went and I don't know if any of you here know about the Florida Panthers, but the Los Angeles Kings traded the Panthers to Humble Pie for some beer and $20 last night. So I'm walking around and I'm looking at like the Maple Leafs and the Jets and the Habs and Vancouver, and I'm booing them like you do. I'm walking up to the sweaters and going boo! And this tourist woman comes over to me, I don't know why, and she says, do y'all know where the Canadian movie's at? Which is odd because I wasn't familiar with y'all being the singular form of y'all, because it was just me. And like, I'm in the middle of some intense booing, right? And I say, I don't know, I think it's out there somewhere. And she goes, well, thank you, that was very helpful. I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't realize it was my job as a fellow tourist to stop booing a sweater so I could give you the directions that you didn't bother to look up yourself. 1 star, downvoted, will not buy from again. We had a lot of those Dole Whips with rum on them. But we learned, doing math, drunk math, that the better deal is to go to the Polynesian, fill up a thing with Dole Whip in like the restaurant downstairs, where, by the way, you learn that making the cool little twist of a Dole Whip thing is actually a skill that needs to be trained. Because mine was just like, it was so potato by the time I was done with it. It was like, I pulled it off and the thing looks at me and it's like, please kill me. I'm like, don't worry, sweetheart. You're gonna spend the remainder of your life filled with coconut rum and being eaten by me. Which I guess could be a contest. Like, people would probably want to win that. Wow, that was enthusiastic. Anyway, we had a really good time. And it was really nice to go and do that. Animal Kingdom remains like, I think, the hidden gem of Walt Disney World. We had a really, really good time there. Got to see a baby elephant. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, that was really great. I got to see parents really losing their shit at their kids. And listen, I have kids. When they were little, sometimes they really got on my nerves. here's the thing. If you're a type A control freak, maybe an amusement park is not the place to take your kids. Because that leash only goes so far. I actually had a person yesterday with their kid on a leash, and the kid on the leash walks in front of me, like creating like a little bit of a barrier, and the parent is like here, looking at me like, what are you gonna do? You know, when they get a scent, they just go. That's terrific. Maybe you could pull that kid back a little bit. So the con here has been really fun. We had a great time at MegaCon last year. We're really excited to come back this year. You guys are lucky. This is a really great convention. It feels to me the way Comic-Con felt before it became like the Hollywood trade show that it is today. I mean, it really, there's terrific vendors, and the cosplay here is just phenomenal. And, yeah, cosplay's the best. And I actually met a kid in line yesterday. A kid came up to me where I was signing autographs yesterday, and he had really fantastic 10th Doctor cosplay. And I said, your 10th Doctor cosplay is great. And he looks at me, his kid's probably 16, he looks at me and he goes, your Wil Wheaton cosplay is amazing. And I said, thank you. I've been working on it for 41 years. And he goes, dude, it is flawless. When I sign pictures, I ask people, who's this picture to? Let me tell you what answer is not helpful to me. Who's this picture to? It's to me. Let me try again. Who's this for? It's for me. What is your name? I imagine that a lot of you are waiting in line to come in here this morning because there wasn't a particularly long line to see me in the vendors hall, and a girl comes up and comes over and she leans on my table and she says, "Listen, I have to be honest with you. If your line had been any longer, I would not have waited in it." And I go, well, I'm really glad that this worked out for you. I said it was short, and she goes, I'm not even really that into you. Like, oh, okay, so this is high school and college all over again. But the reason I'm standing here is because you're right next to John Barrowman, and I really just wanted to get a picture of him. And his line is really long. And I'm like, did you get the picture of John Barrowman that you wanted? He's like, yeah, I got it. It's a great picture. I'm like, good, fuck off! I didn't actually say that. I didn't. No, she was sweet, and who doesn't want a picture of John Barrowman? I get to be right next to him for like 6 hours a day. I'm a little gay this weekend. It's kind of awesome. I have a couple of announcements to share with you before I get to the question and answer portion of today's time that we'll spend together. The first announcement I have to make is please turn your flashes off. They are driving me crazy. I should have made this announcement at the beginning. You're welcome to take all the pictures you want in the world. You're also welcome to videotape this. I'm fine with that. But if you put this online, this performance is released under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike license. So you need to apply that license to anything that you choose to put online. I'll say it again, Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike Non-Commercial License. If you don't know what that means, and based on the silence in the room, I'm going to guess that you don't, you can get all the information you need at creativecommons.org. Okay, that's the second important announcement. The third important announcement is, I've just finished an episode of The Big Bang Theory. It's really funny. It's an episode that I think has a really terrific balance of humor and warmth. It's one of my favorite that I've been in. It has, for me, what I think is the funniest thing I've ever been part of on television. It's episode 720. I think it will air in about 3 weeks. I'm not entirely sure, but that's if because I think they might have a hiatus week somewhere in between. A lot of people want to know what's happening with my board game show, Tabletop. So Tabletop Season 3 is a thing a lot of people are asking about. And what I can tell you is we are hard at work on pre-production of Season 3 of Tabletop. We've worked out a lot of the production logistics, those things like where we're going to film, who our crew's going to be. We've got a lot of the games picked out. I have commitments from a lot of really cool people to come and play on the show. The only thing that's really missing so far is the money to make it happen. So we are in the process of talking to some potential financiers. We're looking into maybe some distribution networks that might fund the show, but we're also considering crowdfunding this season, which I think would be really super cool and really fun. And that's the way I'm leaning. That's what I would really like to do. We figure that we have an audience of around 5 million people around the world, and if even just half of that audience threw $5 at us, we'd be able to make Tabletop for 3 more years. So I brought in some postcards. We made a website called ilovetabletop.com. And this lets you go there and sign up and find out everything you want to about Season 3, including production updates, and if we decide that we're going to crowdfund it, how we can shut up and take your money. So I'm just going to create a huge problem for everyone at the con and put them here. And I'm going to put some over here. And when we're all done, you should probably push and shove and knock people over to try to get there. You probably shouldn't do that. I would appreciate it if you did not. Finally, this is a big deal for me. This is something I'm really excited about. So someone once said it is better to beg forgiveness than ask permission. I have been asking for permission for 6 weeks to talk about this thing that I've been working on for over a year, and I'm just not hearing anything back. So I am going to talk about this as obliquely as possible, but this is something I'm really, really excited about. I have been developing a series for a little over a year. Sometime soon, I can't tell you what network, and I can't tell you anything more specific than this. Sometime soon, you will be able to see a show that I am producing, writing, and hosting for at least 12 weeks, because that's how many episodes the network has picked up. If we are lucky, the network will like it, the ratings will be good, and we will be able to do more, and I'll be able to come into your homes on this particular show once a week, probably for the rest of the year. I am so excited about this. I have put together an amazing creative team, some of the best writers that we could find. I have a phenomenal production staff, and it's a funny show, and I'm really excited about it. So I can't say anything more specific than that. I'm probably going to get yelled at by the network for saying as much as I did. But look, network, if you didn't want me to say that, you probably should have returned one of my calls. So with all of that, let me check my notes and make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Nope, that's all there. My hotel is full of cheerleaders. Seriously, the fuck is wrong with cheerleader moms? Every time I am behind a cheerleader mom and this poor, suffering little cheerleader kid, it's like I'm watching a Mean Girls origin story. The sign should be like, cheerleader tournament, the future Heathers of America formed here. Anyway, I understand that some of you may have some specific questions. There are some microphones.